Have you ever really thought about how a great story gets built? We tend to think of plots as these complex machines, right? All carefully put together piece by piece. But what if the best stories don't get built at all? What if they grow? Like from a single tiny seed, something like a gene that holds the DNA for the entire story. Okay, let's get into this. So, picture this. It's 1834, the great Russian poet Alexander Pushkin. He's looking at a painting called The Last Day of Pompeii. And it just hits him so hard that he grabs a piece of paper and scribbles down these lines. Now look at what he's doing here. He isn't just describing a volcano. He's capturing this raw, primal conflict, nature's chaos just completely overwhelming man-made order, literally toppling the idols. And that single image, chaos versus civilization, well, that became the genetic code for some of his greatest works.
And this brings us to the big question, one that was really explored by the literary theorist Y.M. Lotman. What if Pushkin wasn't starting with some big idea for a story and then just finding images to match? What if it was the other way around? What if he started with a core conflict, a symbolic collision, and then just let the entire story grow out of that clash all on its own?
To really get this, we've got to look at what Lotman called Pushkin's thought paradigm. And it's basically this recurring triangle of symbolic forces. And it's the tension inside this triangle that generates all the tragic, beautiful energy in his writing.
Okay, so here's the absolute key. For Pushkin, the story isn't just a fancy way to explain an idea he already had. The story is the process of him thinking. It literally emerges from the friction, from this impossible, unsolvable tension between three basic forces. The conflict itself is what writes the plot.
And this conflict, it always boils down to this incredible triangle. On one side, you have the elements. Think nature, chaos, wild rebellion. It's this sort of senseless, untamable power. Then on the other side, you have the statue. That's civilization, order, and inhuman law. A cold, rational iron will. And caught right in the middle? The human. Just the individual. Trying to live, trying to be happy, trying to find their place. This triangle is the engine that drives everything.
All right, so Pushkin has this core conflict, this engine. Now here's where his genius really shines. He takes a universal symbol of life and goodness, something like a feast, and he turns it completely upside down to explore his ideas. Think about it. A normal feast means everything good, right? Friendship, freedom, life, community. But Pushkin's fatal feast, oh man, it's a total perversion of that. It's an unnatural union, a kind of blasphemous violation where life literally sits down to have dinner with death. It's his way of showing a world where the most basic human values have been completely broken.
So let's see how these two big ideas, the triangle of conflict and the fatal feast, come together in one of his absolute masterpieces, the play Mozart and Salieri.
Listen to Salieri in his own words. He's not just some jealous bad guy. He is the living embodiment of the statue principle. To him, art is a science. It's a system of cold, hard rules. He actually says he dissects music as if it were a corpse. He values the abstract theory more than the life within it. He is that inhuman law.
And then, in the other corner, you have Mozart. He's the human. He's playful, he loves life, he finds his genius playing on the floor with his kid. For Mozart, art is totally tied to the simple, carefree joy of being alive, and he has this deep instinctual belief that real genius and evil just can't exist together, because genius comes from a good, harmonious soul.
And this is the truly chilling moment. This is Salieri's justification. He convinces himself he's not a murderer. No, he's just an instrument of a higher purpose. He asks, will music be the better? He's ready to sacrifice a real, living human being for an abstract idea, for this idol he calls art. He has put the principle way above the person. And so here we are, the ultimate fatal feast. Mozart sits down, thinking he's having dinner with a fellow artist, a friend, but he's not. He's sitting across from a living statue. He's sharing a meal not with a man, but with a cold, inhuman dogma that's about to poison him. It's a human being feasting with a stone.
So, what's the point of all this? Is Pushkin just being bleak, telling us the world is a broken, awful place? Well, according to Lotman, the answer to that is a very, very profound no.
And this is the beautiful, incredible takeaway. Pushkin shows us these monstrous situations, a feast with death, a man who acts like a stone, not to leave us feeling hopeless. By showing us a world that's so fundamentally broken, so inverted, he forces us to see, just by its absence, the harmony that should be there. The tragedy of that fatal feast makes us truly understand and long for a real feast. Behind all the disharmony, this hidden image of true harmony begins to rise. So, the next time you're watching a movie or reading a book, look for this triangle. Look for that individual character caught between the wild, chaotic forces of nature, or maybe rebellion, and the rigid, inhuman systems of order or ideology. Because as Pushkin showed us, sometimes the greatest, most epic stories are born from that one, single, beautiful, and tragic collision.